Author Nhlanhla Shezi celebrates the privilege of co-raising his daughters in his book titled Dad and Daughter Conversations, Things a Father Would Like His Daughters to Know. Nhlanhla says this book is intended to encourage every young woman to make the best choices when faced with defining moments in their lives. To tell us more about these talks, as a detail some of them in this read, Nhlanhla Shezi joins me now via Zoom. Nhlanhla, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you. Good morning, and good morning to the viewers at home.
Nhlanhla, tell us what inspired you to write this book. I mean, what is this book all about?
I'm a father of two daughters. My first daughter has just turned 22. The second daughter is 15 and a half. So over the years, we've had various discussions about life, about growing up, about how you should handle yourself as a woman and as a lady in society. We've talked about some of the dangers that we see women facing in our current society. So all of those conversations basically inspired me. At some point in time, I felt the need to put it on paper. And so there are three objectives for which I wrote the book. The first one is really to share the conversations that we've had with my daughters with a wider audience. The second objective is really my way of adding my voice concerning some of the social ills that we see in our current society that particularly affect women. So with those we include gender-based violence, but also patriarchy, as well as youth pregnancy. Those are the three particular social ills that we see that have a great impact on our women in society. So I felt that I need to add my voice in that regard. And thirdly, I felt that the book would become a resource that parents, in particular younger parents, can use in initiating crucial discussions with their own daughters.
Yeah, just take us through some of those crucial discussions and conversations that you've had with your daughters that you detail in this book.
It's quite a wide range of the discussions that I suggest in my book. They include things such as beauty. How should you define your own beauty? How should you own and embrace your own version of beauty? They include discussions about relationships. How do you know that someone is a good potential boyfriend or eventually husband for you? What are the key things that you should look at beyond the superficial, beyond how the person looks? We talk about the fact that each of us have a destiny, each of us has a future that we need to work our way towards. So we are encouraging young women to say, you need to have a vision for your own life, particularly in the current day and age where we see, the whole phenomenon of the blessers, where a young lady basically builds their life around someone that they hope will give them the life of their dreams. So we are saying that young women should actually have a vision for their own life. We condemn things such as the blesser phenomenon and various other things really that we see around us. We talk about the need for people to work hard, to know that there's no room for a half-hearted attempt or endeavor. So each of us should work the hardest to be the best in whatever we endeavor in life. So those are just some of the subjects. We talk about emotions, we talk about families, we talk about friends, and all of those things that each of us as young people, as we grow up, should really have in mind, should think about, as we position ourselves, and as we set out what our path will be in society and in life.
And as a father of two daughters, Nhlanhla, what are some of the lessons that you've learned from them?
Wow. The first one is that, of course, the women in particular will always have one needs to be able to put oneself in one's own daughter's shoes as far as the worldview. So therefore, when we speak to our children, we should not just speak, on them, but we should actually endeavor to see the world from their own worldview, and then be in a position to communicate that which we would like to communicate with them, having an understanding of how they see the world.
You know, I've heard so many myths and misconceptions around families who have daughters or girls only in that particular family, and I've heard other bizarre misconceptions saying that, you know, as an African man, you need to at some point have a son who will be taking care of the home and who will be spreading the family name or the family surname, and well, in our language we call it Ndlalifa, and I found some of these totally bizarre. What's your thoughts with regards to that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that is part of what really, inspired me to write this book. To say, you know, we come from quite a broken society.
Yes.
You know, as you know, in South Africa, we had apartheid until 1994. But we are emphasizing in the book that not only, you know, oppression in terms of race is the ill that our history has faced or has characterized. The oppression of women also is quite an ill that we need to address and then that we need to face. So we are saying that women actually should be treated as equals in relationships, even in households. We should be proud as parents. I'm a father of dads only, and there's nothing to be, not to be proud about that. I'm a father of girls only, and that is an important thing. The girls will carry my name, and there's no doubt or hesitancy in my saying that.
You know, there's a whole lot of information, facts, and referencing in this book. Just take us through the amount of research that went into compiling it.
Yes, indeed. We try to include some research, and of course, a number of the discussions that I've had with my children, are things that came from my heart, and so in some way they're a communication of my own worldview. But there are various parts in the book where I had to research. For example, there's a chapter that talks about emotions. Now, all of us, I'm sure many will identify with this. As we grow up, we are told that women tend to be more emotional than men, and that tends to be a statement that we hear all the time. So I decided, as I was writing that particular chapter, to actually do a bit of research in that regard. And to my very surprise, I actually came across a number of people that, psychologists in particular, that actually say we experience emotions equally, both men and women. So therefore, it is a myth to say that women are more emotional than men. However, of course, in how we express our emotions, there are differences, and there are various factors that affect that at various stages in life for both genders. So indeed, there are a number of subjects that I speak about in the book that I needed to look for references to back up whatever view I had concerning them.
Nhlanhla, there's certain issues that you and I can agree that, your daughters perhaps can only be comfortable in discussing with, other people of the same gender. It could be their mothers, their sisters, their cousins, but all female. I mean, when it pertains to, their reproductive health and their physiological well-being. So how do you feel about, you wanting to be a part of every aspect of your daughter's life, but the certain issues that you can't discuss with them?
In fact, again, that's part of why we wrote the book, because we encourage men and fathers in particular not really to be shy, particularly us as African men. We come from a culture where we would leave out, we would stay out of the conversations about some of the sensitive issues that women go through. But, things have changed, and we are saying that men should actually be present in those discussions, should be part of those discussions. So I've tried to do that. And again, I appreciate my wife for having been, open and welcoming to me, sharing some of these discussions with my daughters. So we are saying men should be present in those discussions. And that is very much part of the necessary building of the relationships between fathers and daughters.
This is such a lovely book, Nhlanhla. Thank you so much, and for sharing the kind of love that you have with your daughters in this way and sharing it with the rest of the world. Thank you so much for your time. Where do we get a copy of this book?
The book will soon be available at Exclusive Books. However, that should take about 2 or 3 weeks based on the current process with them. We would encourage people to actually visit my Facebook page, and it is Nhlanhla Shezi. So, I regularly share information of how to access the book directly from me on that platform.
All right, Nhlanhla, thank you so much for chatting to us this morning. All the best.